Alright, welcome back to the channel, everybody. It's been a few days, but we're back to talk about Pokemon some more because we've had some news over the past couple days that the Japanese government is in serious consideration of serious talks of regulating the Pokemon market. And so I've just been kind of thinking about like what that could look like and kind of my ideas and my opinions about it. It's been a couple days since I've read the articles, so I'm not like super clear anymore. I'm not like up with the details, but I was really considering like what that could mean. Right? Like what could a regulated Pokemon market look like, and what would that do to the collections that we already have and product going forward, and how much influence the Japanese government would actually have over the market. And I was really considering things that they could do, right? Like, if it's going to be regulated, that could mean like putting a set price and saying that anything that's currently in print can't be above a certain price, right? That would immediately crush scalpers just into the dirt. They just say, if I can go and get it off the shelf, and this is actually something I've talked about, and if I can go and get it off the shelf, it should not be $100 for an ETB. They're $60, and if you're lucky enough to find one on a shelf, I've even found restocks, and I'm not even seeing ETBs on shelves. I don't know what the heck's going on with the market or with the distribution, but I'm not even getting I can't even find ETBs anymore. Like I said, I'm finding restocks pretty frequently and pretty regularly. Not a single ETB in sight, which is super weird. But, it's, I don't know. I don't know what's causing it, but if they said, well, an ETB is $60 as long as it's in print. And I think another thing they need to do, and somebody brought this up, is that they do these like staggered releases for their sets now, where it's like, oh, this week is the ETB, next week is the booster bundles, next week is the sticker collections, next week is the mini tins. And like it all leads up to the release. When they do the pre-orders on like Pokemon Center and stuff like that. Now they could say that like, no, it's all being released at the same time. There's already people opening 30th anniversary. How? Oh, they're probably stealing it from distribution and manufacturing. That's the only explanation. But that's a whole different. That's a whole side. Yeah, that's a whole different thing. But if the 30th anniversary comes out September 16th, I think is when it's supposed to drop. So just have all the product drop on September 16th. And if you're going to do pre-orders, just let us pre-order one of everything. Just, if you like. So I actually got really lucky and I managed to grab 3 booster bundles for the 30th anniversary through Pokemon Center on a pre-order. But I didn't manage to get the ETBs. Now, because it came out a week earlier, and they're doing this thing now where they don't have a set day. Pokemon Center kind of used to be like is pretty reliable that like Wednesday morning they would do their pre-order. That was when they would put their pre-orders up for things. And now they've gone to a random day of the week, and it can be anywhere between like 11 a.m. and 2 p.m., which is fine. That helps. That helps keep some of the bots out, but somebody still managed to get 1,000 30th anniversary ETBs. Tell me how that works. And it's like, that was clearly a bot, so you should cancel all those orders, but they won't. Those are all confirmed pay-for orders by a single account, which is wild. But what could the government do to stop this? They say everything that's in print or going to be in print is only worth MSRP. Right? So people pre-ordering the Pokemon Center exclusive ETBs can't just turn around and sell them for $200 or $300. And that would fix that problem. Because then we wouldn't have... I don't think that we would have as many scalpers. Now, you'll have people that'll still hold on to it and be like, oh, okay, well, as soon as it's out of print, I can jack up the price. But if they're going to be in print for 2 years or 2.5 years or whatever they do now, seems like it's every 2 years they start a new. But then, see, there's still some Scarlet and Violet era that's still in print. And I think some of it goes out at the end of this year. I could be wrong. I don't know. But, these guys aren't going to spend all that money to grab all these things and just to hold on to it for 3 years and not make any money back. They can't. It's not sustainable at that point. You can't just keep buying stuff for years and years and years without turning a profit. You just crash to the scalper market like overnight. They have... Before this boom happened at the beginning of 2025, Pokemon, like the 151 UPCs were going for $70 on clearance at Costco, and they had pallets of it that they couldn't get rid of. $70. Now they're $1,000. Now they're going for $1,000, and that shouldn't be the case. That somebody went into Costco and said, well, if nobody's buying them, I'll just buy all of them, because they didn't have purchase limits at the time. So you could just go in and buy a whole pallet. And at $70 a piece, you buy a half a pallet or whatever, and then boom, you got, you just made a mountain of cash as long as you waited a year and a half. Like I said, they're $1,000 a piece now, and you only spent $70. Dude, that's, what is that, like an 11x profit margin? Like, yeah, dude. Of course people are going to jump on that. It's actually more than 11. But my point is, it's a lot of money and not a very big turnaround. But those still shouldn't be worth that much, right? I mean, dude, am I crazy? Like, am I the crazy one here that I'm like, I'm getting off track. The Japanese government they're regulating the Pokemon market could look like saying that things that are in print can only be sold at retail, but it could also look like them just saying, like, saying what things are worth. Then it doesn't matter. Like, then it'll act more like a stock that goes up and down, and not just like at the whims of whatever people decide to sell. And it won't be as easy to manipulate, I suppose, because if it's regulated, that means that they'll see that some guy bought 10,000 Kabutos, and they were like, well, we know what he's doing, but the price of a Kabuto is still $1.25. He just has 10,000 of them. Like, that's what it means. That's what it could look like. That's what a regulated Pokemon market could look like. Now, what I think they should do, and I think this would be really cool, and it'd be a way for the company to get items back, like those $70 UPCs that people are now selling for $1,000. What they need to do, what they need to say is that anything in your collection is locked now, where the prices of your stuff can't go up anymore. It's not going to go down either unless we are printing it. If you have a bunch of stuff in your stock, say you've got, 300 perfect order ETBs that were worth $120, those are now only worth $60 each. So you just lost your whole investment on those because they're still in print, right? So that would be something they could do. But I think another thing they could do, and I've talked about it before, the art, the original art, the drawings, like you see behind me. You've got, in Zoroark here, and then Reshiram and Zekrom. Like the original art that these are based on, right? You find that original concept art and you auction it off. But you don't auction it off for money. Auction it off for collections. You start the bidding at a certain collection, like a collectible number. And then it's basically a trade auction. I'll trade an ETB. Okay, the bidding's going to start at one Shining Fates ETB, which is $500 market. Do I hear two? You know what I mean? Like, who has it, right? Like, oh, you have, I see two 151 UPCs, right? People, let's let people bid their collections for it and try to trade to get these actual pieces of art, not just the copies of art that like the posters are and the cards, right? Like I said, the cards are mass produced. There's nothing special about these cards. People paying $1,000 for a Charizard card is like somebody paying $1,000 for a print of the Mona Lisa. It doesn't make sense. So let's start a market. If there's going to be a regulated market for Pokemon, let it be for those original art pieces. Not the cards themselves. It doesn't make sense that the cards are worth so much. It's like, oh, it's from this illustrator. Then go after that illustration that the card is based on. There's 1 million of that card. Why is it worth so much? I don't know. That's just, maybe I'm missing some bigger picture thing, but I don't think I am. I think it's as simple as I think it is, right? It's like the law of Occam's razor, right? Like sometimes the correct answer is the simplest answer, right? So like, let's just look at what the situation is as a whole, and then I think we can deduce from there that like, here's a really simple solution. Like, let's say that the cards aren't worth that much, and it's like if you want to have a real Pokemon collection, then you've got the art, right? You've got the original illustrations for Zoroark, for Reshiram and Zekrom up here. Like, doesn't that just sound that sounds more appealing to me? If you want to say you have something rare in your collection, but yeah, I don't know. Those are just my thoughts. Let me know yours in the comments below. Make sure you like, subscribe, and we'll catch you in the next video. Have a good night.